Hello and welcome to the United Stand full-time phone-in. Tottenham 2, Manchester United 0. We want your reactions. We will be taking yours. But first of all, I've got to give what my thoughts were in relation to that game. Embarrassing, shambolic, disgraceful. They're all valid words. Manchester United means something. The red shirt means something. When I'm struggling to give somebody man of the match because there isn't one, what the hell are those players doing? Why are they wearing Manchester United shirts? That's a big game for us tonight. A big opportunity to go away against the top 6 side, make a statement with a new signing, with a new lease of life, and none of them can be bloody arsed. Now, Ashley Young isn't even awake 11 seconds in when Eriksen runs past him and taps it in to make it 1-0. Phil Jones on the second goal. Again, just where is Ashley Young for the cross? And Phil Jones cannot be trusted. He will play some good games, but he will cost you points. Chelsea 3 points, Stoke 3 points, and now Spurs 3 points. Puts the game out of reach for us, 2-0. Spurs have got a cigar on. It's too easy in a home game. They've got more pace, they've got more passion, they've got more fight, and United, that game was over. Ridiculous performance from Manchester United, and one that realistically, I mean, Mourinho's record in away games against the top 6 in the last 10 games, no wins, 4 points, 1 goal. In 10 games away from home against the top 6, which is where you make the move from 3rd or 2nd to 1st. 10 games away from home against the top 6, 1 goal, no wins. It's poor. And to be honest, at half-time, I felt sorry for Mourinho. I thought, you know, it's individual errors. But he's got 45 minutes to right that wrong. He's got 45 minutes to right that wrong. What does he do? What's his big master play? Well, he puts Martial back on the left, which, well done. I mean, Alexis Sanchez probably is my man of the match. And I welcome those Arsenal idiots who come on and say, ha, we've sold you a dud and all this nonsense when you've been living up his backside for the last 3 years. Let's be honest, Alexis Sanchez is a world-class player. And he was man of the match tonight because he actually put some effort in. He had a poor game, but because he put an effort in, he stood out so higher than anybody else. Massively better than anybody else because he actually tried. In relation to anybody else, shocking, sit down. But the big mistake Mourinho made, and we were really worried about this, was what does it mean for Anthony Martial? Because Alexis Sanchez is a waste of a time signing if you're going to play him where Martial plays. Our best player this season is Anthony Martial, who plays on the left wing. So we go and make a big statement marquee signing and play him on the left wing. Right, that's a cracking idea, Jose, that is. Let's play our new big star player on the left wing where we've already got our star player playing. It's stupid. It made no sense. Why move Martial, our best player, out of his position? Left wing sorted. We've got a good left winger. He's got assists coming out his backside. He's got goals coming out his feet. It is left wing is sorted. Martial's position. So what does he do? Moves a player who's brilliant on the left wing to right wing where he's never played and puts Sanchez on the left wing where he doesn't really play for Arsenal either. It was ridiculous. That was a waste of 45 minutes. But in the second half, he righted that wrong. But then he compounded it. We started the second half off a little bit better. Pogba was invisible man in the first half. Second half, first 15 minutes were much better. He was starting to work his way back into the game. And then Mourinho does one of two things for me. He's either very petulant, which he never should be with Manchester United, or he's totally had blinkers on for the whole game. Because he brings Fellaini on for Pogba. Now, I don't care what people say about Pogba in that game. Whether he's bad or not, he's still one of the best midfielders in the world. And taking him off to make a point, to bring Fellaini on, basically was a big white flag. We've lost this game. I'm Jose Mourinho and I'm going to make an example of Pogba. In a game we could still get back into, he decides to make an example of Paul Pogba. Because no matter how or what people think of Fellaini, when Fellaini comes on for Pogba, that game is lost. We're not getting back in the game when Fellaini comes on for Pogba. Why? Because Fellaini's crap. But no, in all honesty, why? Because that game wasn't being played in the air. It wasn't being played anywhere near each other's box. So that's Fellaini where he's a threat in the air. It was being played on the ground and it was being played very fast. None of those attributes does Fellaini have. So Pogba for Fellaini, for me, I interpret it as petulance by Mourinho, who doesn't yet totally understand that he is not bigger than Manchester United, and we had a chance of winning that game. He sulked, he pulled Pogba off because he wasn't happy with Pogba, and he sent Fellaini on to make an example of Pogba in a game that we still could have won. And it backfired because Fellaini's not fit. Fellaini's been injured for the last few months, and Fellaini goes off after 5 minutes. So we lose the option of bringing Rashford on because we have to bring Herrera on. And just let me add, if you wanted to take Pogba off, the logical substitution was Herrera because it was a game being played on the floor and very quick, and that suits Herrera more than Fellaini. So Mourinho, ultimately we can have a go at Phil Jones, we can have a go at Ashley Young, but Mourinho picks Young over Luke Shaw, and Ashley Young can't defend, and Spurs basically did 2 things today. They stuck Kane on Phil Jones and let Kane bully him, and they put everything down the right hand side because they know Ashley Young's weak defensively. And tactically, Pochettino didn't need to be a genius tonight. What does it mean for Manchester United going forward? Well, Chelsea lost, so we're 3 points ahead of them still. We're as we were. Liverpool, we're still 3 points ahead of them. We're still in second place. City have made the gap even more embarrassing ahead of us. God knows what that is now. But instead of being 8 points ahead of 5th place, which is the gap to us falling out of the Champions League, it's now only 5. That's the big problem. However, at the weekend, we should beat Huddersfield and Spurs will lose to Liverpool, so it'll be back up to 8. So you could say we've not lost anything, but actually we lost a lot tonight. We lost pride, we were embarrassed, we were disgraced, and we didn't turn up, and we were shambolic tactically. Mourinho needs, and I hate to say this because I'm a massive Mourinho fan, he needs to have a long, hard look at himself tonight. He needs to look at why he put Phil Jones against Harry Kane, because Rojo loves a battle. I'd have played Rojo. He needs to look at playing Luke Shaw at left back because he's better defensively in a game like that. He needs to stop using Fellaini because I don't care if Paul Pogba had broken his leg. He's still a better player than Fellaini. And Alexis Sanchez should not have been signed if the whole idea was to put him on the left-hand side. He's got to play at number 10. I thought Lingard today had a lot of endeavour and a lot of effort, but in the big games, turning round and running at players isn't enough for a number 10. And Lingard's good at that, but not in the big games. He's got no creativity, he's got no guile. Put him out on the right-hand side or put him on the bench. In the big games, Lingard's not a number 10. And it really worries me that Mourinho said yesterday, we don't need to buy an attacker in the summer. We bloody do. We need a number 10. We haven't got a number 10. We need a number 10. Anyway, that's my say. Let's take some of yours, because I'm really, really interested to see what people have got to say about that. The call-in is on... it's Skype Goldbridge, all one word. I've just grabbed somebody there. Who am I talking to?
Hello, Mark. It's Paul.
Hi, Paul. Fire away, Paul. Give us your thoughts on that game and the bigger picture.
To be honest, Mark, the way I was looking at it, I was getting more and more, obviously, depressed during the game. But the way I looked upon it was, have we played any different in this game than we do any other games? Is it the fact that this is our style of play, and we've just come up against better opposition who know how to play and has found us out? I mean, the question I've been asking myself, and I wanted to ask you, if you have to define our style of play, how would you define it? Like, you know, our direction, our identity as a Man United team at the moment. If you had to describe how we play, how would you? Because I would describe it as long ball, unfortunately. We've hit so many balls up. We can't play it from the back. It's terrible.
I'm trying to think back for positives in the game, and there was a point in the first 10 minutes after they scored where we were getting down the left and trying to put crosses into the box, but I can't think of a decent chance we created in that game. And Lukaku was abysmal. He was abysmal. He couldn't hold the ball up. He was slow. His touch was what it is. But I never want to hear anybody ever say again that Lukaku should be mentioned in the same sentence as Harry Kane. Harry Kane was up front on his own and bullied our centre-backs, held the ball up and did fantastically well. Lukaku did nothing in that position. But in defence of Lukaku, and I've been saying this for a number of weeks, we don't create chances. We don't create chances. We score a lot of goals where Lingard turns and runs and shoots, and Martial turns and runs and shoots and scores great goals, but we don't create chances. And when I look at Manchester United as an identity, I just think we're missing number 10. We haven't got a number 10, and we don't move the ball quick enough. And then that forces us, quite rightly, like you say, into this long ball game that Lukaku actually can't play. He can't hold the ball up.
We haven't got an identity. We don't know what we're doing. We half press, so our press gets found out and people counter attack on us. Uh, because we don't press, we don't win the ball in the middle of the park, so we're not a counter-attacking team. When we do counter-attack, we don't do it with enough numbers, and we don't do it quick enough, and we're always turning back and playing it back to whoever's in the midfield, who ends up playing it back to the back four, who plays it back to De Gea, boots it up there, but there's no one up there because we've been playing it back so much. He said we got 350 billion quid's worth of forwards, and our defence is worth 35 million. We can never win the Premier League with the defence we have at the moment. I know you like Smith and Jones is Jones, but they can't play football, Mark. If I was trying to look between the difference of Tottenham and Man United tonight, I was trying to have some perspective on it. Tottenham were playing it around at the back until we ran out of press, and they had lots of space. And by the time that happened, they created some space in the midfield because we were pressing, and they moved forward. Our defence, all we do, Smalling can't pass it more than 5 yards. He passes it out to Ashley Young. Ashley Young's boxed it in the corner because he can never get further than the ball. He passes it back to Smalling, goes back to De Gea, goes up front. How many times today did you see our fullbacks get further ahead than the ball? They didn't. No one gets ahead of the ball. It's all to feet. It's all backwards. And with our defence at the moment, we have great defenders, as they are, but they're old school defenders. Not right for this type of play, not right for the future of football. And without being able to play the ball more than 5 yards, we're never going to be able to create because our midfielders won't get any space.
Interesting here from Bose, who's made a contribution. He says, our 4 attacking players are worth 350 million and our 4 defending players are worth under 35 million. This exactly is not how you build a title-winning squad. And Alexi Nicola, thank you Alexi, says, watching Matic tonight was difficult. Every first touch was backwards, killing counter-attacks. Every forward pass was wayward, and he was watching balls and not challenging players in the last 30 minutes. I'm glad somebody's mentioned Matic, but I wanted to ask you, Paul, before we take another call, what was your thoughts on the Pogba substitution? Some people said it was deserved. I don't care whether it was deserved or not. If you're going to make an example of somebody, at least bring somebody on who's better than that. Taking Fellaini on, bringing Fellaini on was the big white flag. The game was over. As soon as you bring a player like that on into a game like that, that game was over. What does Fellaini offer in our midfield? He's slow. It was a quick game being played on the floor with a high press. How does Fellaini fit into that as a CDM? That, for me, by Mourinho, was just throwing in the towel to make a point.
Mark, I know you love Mourinho, but that's Mourinho's style. Unfortunately, and he's never going to change. And this is also our style of football at the moment. It is Mourinho's style, and that's never going to change. It doesn't matter who we buy. I'm anti Mourinho, not completely. I think he's a fantastic manager, and he will get trophies. But I don't think he can change the way we play in terms of getting better, entertaining, more free flowing, attacking football. And the substitutions, to answer your question, were diabolical. I don't blame any player tonight. I can't pick out a player which was hot. Matic didn't have anyone to pass to ever. Sanchez ran around, did his turns, did what he does with Arsenal, just looked up, no one was moving. Lingard was the only one. Martial, he gets down the left, but he's on his own. He has to do it all by himself. The substitutions just basically said, I quit. Let's take 2-0. And that's a negative way of playing any game, and you can't do that for Man United. You just can't do it. Simple as that. He's going to get a lot of stick for that.
Thanks for calling in, Paul. Really good one to open it up with, and as always, some really good negativity, Mark. No, I think it was balanced negativity. I'm sure there's people are going to come on and just go absolutely mad. So thanks for that, Paul, and really good points.
Perspective. Yeah. All right. I appreciate your time, mate. As always.
Cheers, Paul. Speak to you again soon. I am going to take as many calls as we can do tonight because I know there's a lot of people who want to call in and have their say. I just want to say about Matic. I said in the summer I didn't want Matic at Manchester United. I wanted Fabinho. I got a lot of stick for the first month that he had here because he was very, very good. But arguably, is anyone going to argue with me if I said that for the last 4 months he's been crap? He is very static. He is very slow. He doesn't move the ball quick. He's not breaking up the play. I think Matic is sort of a player over the last 4 months that's sort of living off a good first month against teams that weren't very good. It's not good enough. But what I would say in Matic's defence is what I said in the game in the first half. Matic was a player for now. Matic was a player that you bring in, and if we're going to win the title this year or next year, it works. But for Matic's Matic may as well be sold, because we're not winning the title this year. We're probably not going to win it next year, and the year after that, Matic is like 31. He's finished. So Matic is a waste of time. He is. He's not a player for a team that you're building. He's a player for a team that's already built. Get calling in, everybody. Really want to take your calls. We've got a couple of live chats I need to read. Anadar Akula says, we've been outclassed and schooled. Another signing won't change anything. Players need to take a long, hard look at themselves. Jose needs to change or go. And June Langlo says, truly devastating performance all round. We're missing chemistry in the squad. We're too slow and not creative. Couldn't even get the ball out wide. Well, we ain't got anyone who can cross anyway, have we, out wide? So it's poor. Right, I'm going to take another call. I'm just trying to grab a call. Skype's probably going to crash because we've got so many people calling. So if you are calling, just hold off for a bit, because I'm going to take a few. We'll take a lot of calls tonight, but I can't do them if it's Rams. So let's see who we've got. I'm trying to get somebody on. Hello, can you hear me? Hello.
Hello, mate.
Hi, is that Josh?
Yep, I can hear you. Can you hear me?
Good. Go for it, Josh. What do you want to say?
It's absolutely embarrassing, mate, today. Absolutely embarrassing. There's one thing I've been thinking this whole couple of months. Lingard is not good at all. I don't understand the point in Lingard at number 10. He can't create anything. I was watching City's goal earlier. De Bruyne pulled off this killer pass to Fernandinho, 1-0. We haven't got that.
Yeah, I think Lingard, it'd be wrong of me to say Lingard's not good enough tonight, and it would have been wrong of me to say Lingard's the answer and he's Messi Lingard a month ago. I think Lingard ultimately will be a bench player, but I wanted Lingard to play tonight, so I'd be a hypocrite if I didn't. But the reason I wanted him to play is because I wanted to see Sanchez on the right and Martial on the left, and it didn't happen.
Yeah.
But I think what we saw with Lingard, and it's your call, is that I would agree with what you said there. It's the lack of guile and creativity. He's okay if you give him the ball and he turns and he runs, but against Spurs, they're not that. Against Yeovil it works, against Watford it works, but against the top six, they're not stupid enough to let a number 10 get it and turn and run at their back four. They'll have players in place to stop that happening, and when that happens, Lingard becomes redundant, because like Matic, he's a sideways passer. He's not a forward passer, and we just haven't got a number 10, and we haven't had one for 4 years. I think that's our biggest problem.
Exactly. It was literally like watching the when we had played City at Old Trafford, completely bossed us. Today, Spurs completely tore us apart. Matic was dreadful today. I couldn't even watch him. He was completely, utterly useless on the ball and without the ball. Pogba had a poor game, but I think that was mainly due to Matic's lack of defensive skills today, because Pogba literally couldn't do anything. Martial, as much as I love Martial, he did mess up a few times today. But then what could he do? Like, he couldn't do anything when the team was playing like that. Sanchez was looking for things, but there's no one there. Lukaku was isolated again. It was just like the same old against top six clubs. We just look poor all the time. I don't understand it.
As I said, anybody who's joining us a little bit later, Mourinho's had 10 games against his last 10 games against the top six away from home. No wins, 1 goal, 4 points. That's not a coincidence. I would say
it's not good enough. It's just not United. It's just like, if we want to get to that top level, we have to be beating the top six. We have to. Like today, we looked miles. We looked so poor. We looked like West Bromwich today against Tottenham. Completely outclassed us.
What do you think the problem is with United? Is hundreds of millions of pounds of attacking a talent, yet we're not creating chances. What is it? Is it the DNA of how we're sent out to play? What is it? Why are we not creating any chances?
I think one of the main problems is our number 10. We need a serious number 10 who can create. Like a De Bruyne, like a Silva. Look, Ozil would have been perfect, but now I just heard he signed a new contract at Arsenal, which is stupid for him. But if he wants to waste his career then that's fine. And I think that we need another holding centre midfielder. That Savic from Lazio, was it he plays for?
Yeah.
I think he'll be fantastic. And I generally think Matic should be looking a way out in the summer, because I don't think long term he's what we need at all. We need to think and get another centre midfield partner to go and help Pogba, but maybe even play in a midfield three, maybe get three, Matic, Pogba and someone else, and then play Martial on the left, Sanchez on the right, and then Pogba up front. It's just, I don't know what to do, to be fair. It's just all a bit messed up at the moment.
I must admit, I'm quite stunned by the result tonight, but
I was expecting us to win tonight. I went into the game thinking, yeah, we've been really well recently, and I thought we'd really go for this today, but it was just the complete opposite as per. So,
thanks for calling in, pal.
Frustrating. Thank you very much, Mark.
Really good call, and please do call in again.
Will do. Thank you very much.
Cheers, pal. I think ultimately, I can't hide from the preview. I can't hide from the team. I was really excited by that team, but I did say it 10 minutes before the kickoff, and it will be there on the video. I said, look, the team's great. We're really excited. I'm very confident, but one thing we cannot be confident about is that over the last 4 years, since Sir Alex Ferguson has left Manchester United, there has been a number of games where, for whatever reason, the team don't turn up. And if the team don't turn up, whether it's lack of concentration, lack of effort, lack of ability, then we can love the lineup, we can love the team, but if the players don't turn up, we're in the hands of the players. And tonight was a game where Manchester United didn't turn up, and that led to 2 early goals. That led to us losing the game. It's hard because it's not something I've ever been used to in relation to Manchester United for a long time. It was one of the things that was always relevant. Is that people would turn up. But Calvin, can you hear me?
Yes. How you doing, Mark?
I'm good, thanks. What do you want to say?
Well, I don't know where to start, but I was really excited to watch this game. I even started watching the game on my bus, and I'm coming home watching the game 10 seconds, and guess what? They scored. And I think that was the big problem. We don't know how to start games off good. You see this happen. I think it happened at Chelsea, Man City. We just don't start games off good. Like, for example, we got into the game, 10 seconds in, they scored. We started playing good football. Like 5 minutes later, the players turn up. We're playing decent football, not the greatest, but we were passing the ball, moving the ball well. So I'm like thinking, okay, yes, we're going to come back and we're going to win this game 2-1. And guess what? We score our own goal, and all the players had dropped. The defenders, they lost confidence, and it's like a train effect, like a little triangle effect. The defenders lost confidence. They weren't playing good anymore. Therefore, they couldn't get the ball to the midfielders. Matic was having an off game. That meant that Pogba had to drop back deep, and we all know Pogba is not the best at defending, and you saw that they will have, like, you could see the passes they're going to make. It was so obvious. Like, they had so long to make the passes, and like Pogba wouldn't come back and drop in to cut off those simple passes because he was trying to play a little forward. And every time they'll make those little passes, they just trapped us in that half, and we couldn't get the ball. People are saying Lukaku played bad, he did that. He could not have done anything more. Like, what do you want him to do? He's up top, holding the line. He needs to get the ball on his feet. How many times can you say Lukaku got that ball on his feet, Mark?
I thought there's people arguing about Lukaku on there. I mean, we're going to talk about a lot of the players. We've done Matic. We spoke about Lingard. Obviously Pogba. In relation to Lukaku, a lot of people defending, saying he played well. I feel on one hand I feel sorry for him because I thought he's not getting chances. But on the other hand, I couldn't help but notice every time Spurs knocked the ball up to Lukaku, he held it to Kane. He held it up, and countless times we tried to get it up to Lukaku, and he didn't. I mean, what were your thoughts on Lukaku?
Well, I honestly thought Lukaku, there wasn't much he could do because he didn't have help. If you look at Kane, most of the times he got the ball, it was 1v1. Like, it was either him and the left back, Luke. It was what am I saying, Luke Shaw? It was either him and the left back, Young, or it was him and Phil Jones. It wasn't. If you look when Lukaku gets the ball, it's always him and like 3 other defenders right on his back. Like, he can't settle the ball in most of the situations to get it in because when you look at when King gets the ball, it's most times from the midfielder. They're swinging the ball in. when Lukaku gets those long balls, it's always coming from like the defender, and it's like they have to cross the ball, and you can see that coming because there's nowhere else to go, and you know the long ball's coming. When most of the long balls Harry Kane's was getting and settling, for example, the first one, how many people saw that ball coming? You didn't see that long ball coming in. As the long balls we're playing, they're obvious ones. They're going to see it, and it's going to make it very difficult on Lukaku to get the ball every time. It's not like they're easy long balls that he's 1v1. He could use his height. Most of the time, he's outnumbered. And I feel like it's not fair for people to always like put the blame on Lukaku. Because think about it. Most of the best strikers in the world, they get like 4 or 5. Like, look at how many chances Kane had that game. He easily could have scored. I feel like if Lukaku had as many chances as Kane did in that game, he would have scored a goal. Because look how many chances he had. I think he had like 5, 6 shots or whatever that is. How many shots did Lukaku have? How many chances did he get? That's what we got to focus on. And you say this a lot, Mark. The thing is, we're not making simple goals, like easy little tap-in sweat goals. We're not doing that. All the goals we're scoring are from individual talent, and that's the problem. We're not coming together as a team. It's just not clicking. And maybe the problem starts with, like, our center defensive mid, Matic, had an off game, which means Pogba had to drop back a lot. And when he's dropping back, he's not up there with the attackers, creating stuff, controlling the line. And if Pogba's not up forward, Martial is not getting the ball as much. All of our attacking players are not getting the ball as much, and it's just not clicking. And I can't really think of a time this year when it really like clicked, other than the beginning. The beginning of the year, you saw that we were scoring 4 goals, and everyone was saying like we're scoring 4 goals. But if you look at them, they weren't all like Jesse Lingard worldly goals. They weren't like all individual goals. They were all team-made goals. And I feel like we haven't seen that from Manchester United for quite some time. Like those simple little 1-2 goals, quick tap-ins. I just think it's all been like beautiful goals we've been depending on. And we can't let that like fool us. There's a lot of work we need to do on this team to get to that level.
Good points, Calvin. Thanks for calling in, and please do call in again.
Thank you, Mark. I see you. Have a good day.
You too, pal. I was just listening to Mourinho there as well in relation to what he said. Nothing controversial, unfortunately. You've got to defend, and we're going to get more sense from what you lot have got to say. To be honest, I think he's not going to come out and admit that he got that wrong. I mean, I think one of the most pertinent questions that weren't asked was why you moved our best player from his position to put your new signing there. I mean, the Alexis Sanchez signing will be a really good signing for Manchester United, but it's a bad signing if it means that we don't see... you don't move Anthony Martial. You don't move Anthony Martial, do you? And we did do that, and it was shocking. He said that the Fellaini substitution was tactical. I thought it was shocking. I thought it was an absolute disgrace, and I don't wish injury on anybody, but Mourinho deserved that because he needs to stop doing that. You don't bring Fellaini on for Pogba in a game that's quick on the ground and nowhere near anybody's box. It just wasn't that sort of game. Let's take another caller. Hello, can you hear me?
Hello, Mark.
Hello. Oh, Metin from Turkey. How you doing?
Yes. I'm fine. Not so fine. I am very angry. And I would like to get my anger out with Matic in first, because every single ball he played it backwards or sideways, and he made the play slow down. And I play center defensive midfield in real life, and I always play a hard pass to our center forward, and he holds the ball up, and then we play fast attacking football, and which in this point Lukaku, Matic had to play in like Lukaku, and Lukaku can't hold the ball up very much, and he didn't. He's a donkey, and I'm just so angry.
Yeah, I mean, I think just to cut in on what you were saying there, I think you are very, very right, and it's something that we've spoken about a lot on this channel. is that Manchester United do not move the ball quickly from back to front, and that means that teams. I mean, I look at what Spurs did today. It wasn't revolutionary. It wasn't great management by any means by Pochettino. They pressed us high up the pitch, and when they got the ball, they moved the ball really, really quickly. When Manchester United get the ball, I wasn't looking at Manchester United because you don't need to focus on United when they get the ball because they're going to take a good 20 minutes to get it to the halfway line. But I look at Spurs, and as soon as we get the ball, I saw two banks of players and then Kane. And it's like, how do we get through that then? Because the ball is moving in slow motion from back to front. And that's the problem with United. We don't move it quick enough. And then we do. Then we'll hit a long ball and Lukaku doesn't hold it up.
Yes, and we can't blame Lukaku for that. And like when he needs to hold the ball up sometimes, and he can't do that. And but we can't blame him so much because we play very slow, and I think he fits a fast attacking mentality because he wants the ball through, and he's not that sort of guy that will drop into the midfield and hold the ball up. And I think we don't suit Lukaku very well. When we play like this, and I want to say something. Pochettino, I think he didn't get it right. It was all Phil Jones and Young's, and I didn't even bother watching the second half because if Young doesn't bother defending, I'm not bothering to watch him.
Yeah. I was just looking at the screen there because there was a bit of a animated discussion between Pogba and Mourinho there, and Pogba obviously being substituted off. I thought that. Look, I agree with everybody who said Pogba was poor today, but I still think that, look, he refuses to sub Lukaku. He will never sub Lukaku. And I'm not saying that's right or wrong, but he will never, he stuck up for Lukaku in relation to the Old Trafford crowd getting on his back. Lukaku plays, Lukaku's important to me. And then he's just gone and done that to Paul Pogba. I mean, is that sort of behaviour from Mourinho, that could see Pogba moving on in 18 months.
He's a hypocrite.
Did you agree with Pogba being taken off? Are you worried about the future of Pogba under Mourinho?
I am not worried because he will never bench Pogba because he spent so much money on him, and if he gets Pogba wrong, it will damage his critics, and in the agenda press are on his back, and I think he has to get it right with Pogba. I'm not worried about that, and I think he shouldn't have brought on Fellaini. That just shows how he's very stubborn and he still wants to play Fellaini. He is pushing through Fellaini, and he should have brought on Herrera. I agree because I am the sort of guy that will always how can I express this? Take off my star player if they're not playing right, but I think somebody has to kick Pogba in the ass and say, stop dancing like a retarded octopus and start showing what you're worth to the whole world, because if you don't, I'm gonna drop you. I think Mourinho needs to threaten, and he needs to give him some tough love.
Good point. Thanks for calling in, and please do call in again. Very good call again. Sorry it was a bad result, but thanks for calling.
Bye, Mark.
Bye. Interesting points. Tempers are running high. I totally agree with some of those tempers. It was frustrating, and we should expect more from our players in a big game like that. I think so many of us tonight were expecting and excited about tonight, and yet again we've been let down by players not turning up. Jack, can you hear me?
Hi, Mark. Yeah, you alright?
I'm good, thanks. You?
Yeah, good, thanks.
What's your thoughts tonight?
I just feel like with today's performance, Lukaku, he was just a joke today. I mean, I feel like does he not want to be here or something?
It was a very... I think... Look, I put it up on Twitter the other day. I said, look, I'm a Manchester United fan, but I'm not stupid. I mean, some people would say that's nonsense. I am stupid. But I don't I'd seen a top red saying that there's not a lot of difference between Lukaku and Kane. Well, I hope that top red watched the game tonight, because there was a total difference. It was like looking at a great reality and a nightmare reality, because both players were doing the same job. One of them was bullying two centre-backs, holding the ball up. Granted, he didn't score a goal, and he probably should have done, Harry Kane, but he set up goals and he had a fantastic performance. You got Lukaku, who's getting the same sort of balls knocked up to him. They're bouncing off him. The defenders are nipping in front of him. I totally and utterly agree. I'm not a Lukaku hater. He's doing a better job than Morata and Lacazette. But we're Manchester United. I want Lukaku to be doing the same job as Kane and Aguero, scoring a lot of goals. And he's not getting the chances given to him. But there isn't any excuse for him in relation to his overall performance tonight, i.e. running the channels, keeping hold of the ball. There was even a point in the first half that sort of got brushed over where it drops to him. Lloris is running towards him. He's just got to play it off to Martial, and he plays a rubbish pass and Spurs clear it.
Yeah. I think quite a lot of the players today, I felt like maybe they thought, because we had Sanchez, we were just sort of going to automatically win the game. I don't know if, I just sort of felt like there was just something missing today. It's just so annoying.
What did you think? Jose Mourinho's just signed a new contract. It's a difficult question to ask this. I mean, what's your thoughts on Mourinho tonight and as Manchester United manager going forward? I mean, some people have got massive issues with him. Some people are very happy with what he's doing, but you can't. I mean, the stat I've given out about the number of away losses is wrong, actually, because we did beat Arsenal the other week, but it's still a shocking record he's got away from home against the top six. And that second half, granted, Phil Jones made the mistake and put it out of reach, but the second half we should at least be making chances. It was tepid and weak and cowardly, that second half performance from United, and that has to be in some part to do with the manager.
Yeah, I mean, the Fellaini substitution, I just stopped watching after that, and then my mum was calling me saying, "Oh, Fellaini's been brought off. Did he just get injured or something?"
Yeah. I mean, to be honest, the minute he came on, I knew the game was lost anyway. But yeah, he came on and got injured.
It's just ridiculous how he's why he's on. My last point is that I feel like at this club, with looking at transfers, I think because today in football there's just too much money. We need players that actually want to play for the club. I mean, Sanchez today, I know it's a bit, I think the word's cliche, that he's saying, sort of repeating how it's always his dream to play for all these different clubs. But I feel like his work rate, he just wants to play for the club. Whereas I couldn't imagine like a Dybala sort of fitting in, or I don't know.
I tell you what, I'd take Diarra at the moment, mate. Thanks for calling in. A really good call. Please do call in again.
Yeah, see you.
Cheers, pal. A lot of people not happy tonight. Totally understand why. Really disappointing from United. Let's see what David has got to say. David, can you hear me?
Hello.
Hi, David. You're live on the United Stand. What do you want to say?
What I want to say is the interesting thing I find in terms of the stats, you were saying earlier that we don't really have an obvious style of play. You know, when you look at Manchester City, they're obviously a passing side. Spurs today, they just completely outpassed us. And when I look at the passing stats of the last while, of the whole season, really, I mean, Manchester City have 5 players in the top 10 in terms of completing passes. If you'd like to know where Paul Pogba sits, he's 50th. You know, so I feel like, and we actually as a club only have 1 player in the top 40 passers. So where are we going wrong?
I just think I don't know whether it echoes from Moyes and Van Gaal. I just think that in relation to United, we are not moving the ball quick enough from back to front, and we've not got the players to do that. I've seen people mentioning Michael Carrick tonight, and I think they're right, but that ship sailed 2 years ago. Michael Carrick, yeah, we can play him against Yeovil in an FA Cup game. We can't play him week in, week out in the Premier League and the Champions League. I love Michael Carrick. If Michael Carrick was 5 years younger, you just stick him in the team behind Pogba. I mean, Matic. I never wanted to say I told you so about Matic, because to a lot of people I had to sort of, I took the L, whatever like that. But I think Matic has become, over the last 4 months, the player I feared, which is the player that's ultimately not good enough for Manchester United if we want to win the title. And I think we've got too many players like that.
I think he started off the season fantastically. I think even Chelsea fans couldn't believe how well he was playing for us at the start of the season, and they felt regretful that they let him go. I felt like we'd made a great signing, and I agree with you. I think he's kind of he's slowing down the play a bit too much. But I just think that when you look at the top sides around the world, because like you say, we need to start thinking about ourselves as a club on par with obviously right now we're not, but in history we have been, with the Real Madrids, the Barcelonas, and when you watch them play, the possession style of football seems to be the style of football that is becoming dominant around Europe. Bayern Munich, even tonight, if you look at Spurs, they just completely we couldn't keep the ball. They could, and that was obvious as a big difference between the two sides. And I think you're right. I think that as much as the players themselves, their technical ability could be questioned, I think that you have to look at the manager. When it comes to style of play and players feeling like they've got the freedom to express themselves and go out and play, I just think that in today's game, obviously Mourinho still could obviously be successful and will be successful in his career, but I think he does need to learn to change sometimes. I think his stubbornness might be a problem.
He's Mourinho. Look, United lose a game like tonight, 2-0, and get played off the park and don't turn up and are an embarrassment. Every fan is going to be annoyed with Mourinho.
Of course.
I love Mourinho. He's the right man for the job. But tonight, he's annoyed me for a number of reasons. I'm not saying Mourinho out, and I've not seen many people saying Mourinho out. But he has to be accountable for that tonight. January says, how many games has Matic played, you idiots? And I think he's trying to defend Matic because of the number of games he's played. Well, I'll tell you what, January, he didn't play on Friday night, so he's not played for 10 days. I know he's been overplayed, probably overpaid tonight, but he has had rests. That is a bit of a myth now that Matic has been overplayed, because he has had rests and he didn't play against Yeovil. So I don't buy that excuse anymore. I think Matic is struggling. But he's not the only one. Lukaku's struggling. Lindelof's not even on the bench. So the 3 summer signings, you could say at this moment in time, are an issue. He subbed another one tonight. He sold Mkhitaryan. Zlatan's injured. Bay's injured. So interesting. That's just totally off the top of my head there. But his 7 signings, Pogba subbed him off. Zlatan injured. Bay injured. Mkhitaryan sold. Lindelof not even on the bench. Matic poor, Lukaku poor. That's a bad reflection on Mourinho of those 7 signings, and it can change very, very quickly. But just going back to what you were saying there, when I look at United and I look at this issue about build-up play, creating chances, possession play, I look at United, I think Martial's very good at retaining possession, Sanchez is, Mata is, Pogba is. That's 4 players there that you can pick and they will keep hold of the ball. The problem is, Lukaku's no good at it, and he's the end game. And behind us, Smalling and Jones aren't good at bringing the ball out the back, and Matic is struggling at the moment. So we've got good enough players to play possession football, but the back and the front of it are the problem. Yeah,
I have to say, I think that Lukaku, I agree. We kind of knew when we bought him that his first touch was questionable, and what he can do is finish, But to finish, you gotta have chances, and like you say, I don't think when was the last game you saw where crosses were being fired in the box, or even just some ball slipped through to Lukaku to run onto? I feel sorry for Lukaku, because he's getting a lot of at the start of the season, he's banging in the goals. Everyone thought he was a great signing, and now he is starved of chances. And as a forward playing up alone, as much as Harry Kane, of course we can't compare him, but tonight you could see Harry Kane at the very least when he was on the ball, or when the ball was around him. There were Eriksen was running off him, or even Lamela actually slid him through a pass in the last few minutes, which he probably should have scored. I don't remember the last time, and you could blame Lukaku maybe for his movement, but I just don't think that, like you say, there's that missing player just behind Lukaku who's going to feed him the chances.
Great call, mate. Thanks for calling in, and please do call in again.
Thanks very much.
Cheers, pal. Paul Robinson, who did open the calls, just put something up here that sort of drew my attention. He says, Mark, you're blindly backing Jose based on history. He's past it. Do a pros and cons list. I'm not at that stage yet. But there was a few things about tonight. Ashley Young, why is he playing at left back? Phil Jones, why are you putting up against Harry Kane? It should have been Rojo, who likes a fight. It was a battle against Harry Kane tonight. It didn't suit Phil Jones. The Sanchez selection on the left wing was mind-boggling. I love Alexis Sanchez. I think he's a great player. I think his effort levels got him man of the match tonight, even though he played badly, but everybody did. But his effort levels were really good. But Alexis Sanchez coming to Manchester United is a total waste of time if you're going to play him in a position where our best player plays. Anthony Martial at left wing has been our best player this year. You buy a player and then you put them left wing and you move our best player to the right-hand side. That doesn't improve us. You're just making potentially a slightly better left best player. But left wing has still got our best player in it. Martial on the right was a waste of time. Mata and Lingard are the weak spots in the attack if you want to improve it. And Sanchez needs to play at number 10 or out on the right, and Martial needs to go to the left. The Fellaini for Pogba substitution, I will never understand that. Unless Pogba's got an injury, which he clearly didn't seem to have, that was just throwing in the towel because he was being petulant. It was like, I'm taking you off, Pogba, and I'm making a point of it. But the minute he brought Fellaini on, that was over. With 10 minutes to go, I'd understand it, but there was half an hour left in that game. Half an hour, and it was 2-0. You get one back, and the game changes. So, of course, Mourinho tonight. And there's some fans saying, oh, you're changing your mind like the weather. We're not. We're just frustrated by that performance last night. There were some bad tactical decisions by Mourinho. And also that was compounded by the fact that the players just didn't turn up and got out-battled by Spurs, which is embarrassing because Spurs are not having a great season. They're not having a great season, and Spurs will get battered by Liverpool on Sunday, who currently are probably the favourites to get second place. On form, as sad and as embarrassing as this sounds, Liverpool are probably favourites for second, and we're going to be in a battle for third and fourth. That's the way it's looking at the moment. Brian O'Neill says Mark has complete blinkers on of Martial. He was really poor tonight. I don't recall Brian saying that Martial had a good game tonight. I haven't said that. I purposely haven't said that because nobody had a good game tonight. My man of the match tonight would have been either Valencia or Alexis Sanchez for effort. Ability-wise, I thought everybody was either really, really poor or average. And I certainly don't think Martial was good tonight. Not at all. So I haven't said it. And he is my favourite player. But I think Martial maybe suffered from that sort of lack of vote of confidence from Mourinho. You know, you play absolutely fantastic all season as a left winger, and he signs somebody else, and he moves you out to the right wing. It's almost dropping him. Almost dropping him. It wasn't dropping him, but it was almost. Daniel, can you hear me?
Sure can, Mark. What's up?
Not Manchester United have lost to Spurs. That's what's up. But what's your thoughts?
Fed up, mate. But I'm going to start with this. I know you were before the game were saying how they can't bring in Sanchez and bench Martial. What's the point of getting Sanchez if they bench Martial? Well, they start Sanchez, they start Martial, then it goes wrong. And now it's, well, you can't bring in Sanchez and put Martial on the right. When before, we were all talking about how as long as Martial's in the team, it's going to benefit the team to have both of them in the squad. I understand that his best position is a left winger, but you just bring in Alexis Sanchez, who's arguably the best player on the field as soon as he steps into the locker room. And you're going to have to accommodate him first before you accommodate Martial. And that being said, they both played, and they didn't do anything.
Just to jump in on that, there was a comment tonight. I don't know whether it was Jared who said it in the second half, but it was a really good one. It's like the difficulty with signing a player in January is that it might take them time to settle into the team. And I think if I was Mourinho, I'd have played Martial on the left and Sanchez on the right, for the simple reason that what he did tonight was he stuck a player who's brand new into a team he doesn't really know, and he put him on the left-hand side. He then took his best player and moved him to a position he's not used to playing with. So we went into that game with two of our best players in foreign territory, Whereas if he'd put Martial on the left and Sanchez on the right, yeah, Sanchez is new to the team. He's got to find his feet. But Martial knows the left-hand side. And I think we looked lost in that first half. And I don't understand why he did that. And I think also he's probably messed with Martial's head and confidence tonight, because Martial will be thinking, why have I been moved from the left-hand side where I've been the best player for Sanchez? And I think Mourinho made a mistake with that tonight. I mean, maybe I'm making a mistake saying that, but I think Mourinho will have messed with Martial's confidence for no reason.
Well, let me just say this in Mourinho's defense. We created a lot more chances in the first half with Martial on the right, Sanchez on the left, than we did in the second half. When they played him in their regular positions, with Sanchez playing 10 and Martial playing on the left side.
But I mean,
bottom line is,
I preferred that.
Bottom line is we weren't right. I preferred it too, but we looked better going forward in the first half than we did in the second. At least in the first half, we were making inroads. We were making some decent passes. We had a couple chances that didn't come off. Lukaku's back pass, the one that Lingard couldn't keep down. In the second half, we did nothing. No. And that was with everyone playing in their somewhat preferred position. I think that it was a tough game, obviously, to get everybody in and adjust everybody tonight. But what I really want to talk about is, I think we're going to have to start asking the question that maybe Paul Pogba's not suited for the Premier League.
Controversial. I mean, I've heard lots of good calls tonight. Some people have said Pogba played bad because Matic was so poor and Pogba had to play so deep. Some people have said Pogba was swamped by Spurs midfield because Lingard was ineffective defensively and it was 3 against 2. Some people have said Pogba was just really poor and needs to be better than that. What was your interpretation of it and the substitution by Mourinho?
I think it's a combination of all three. Matic tonight, awful. The guy couldn't even pass the gravy at the dinner table, let alone a ball 5 yards. I think the substitution was right. Didn't care if he brought Fellaini on as the sub. The point is that you have to make a statement by taking him off, because he was probably the worst player on the field next to Phil Jones. But again, I know that I'm not saying that you're a hater on Lingard. I think you assess Lingard very fairly. But you also say that, is he consistent enough? Because he has more bad games than he does good. He comes up good in some patches, and most of his games are borderline good to average. Pogba's not that different. I could count more bad games that he's had than had really good ones. Maybe he just doesn't have the time on the ball that he would in Serie A or in Spain. Every time he's on the ball, other teams close him down because they know he's more physical than them, he's faster than them, he's stronger than them, but he's not using all his attributes to his best abilities. I mean, there's times in the midfield he could glide past people. Doesn't do it. Looks like he's kind of disinterested. And not just tonight because we lost, but other times, even when we win. I mean, a lot of games, far too many games for a 90 million pound player, he's been a passenger. And this is not, just this year, this is last year. And I mean, he's not going to stay here long term anyway. A couple of years anyway, he was going to go regardless. So, I know what you said before about him leaving in 18 months because maybe, the relationship with Mourinho might have took a turn tonight for the worse. But I mean, let's call it what it is. Has he really justified even 50 million of that? In today's market, sure. But really, like I said, more bad games I could count on my hands than he has good ones.
I think Pogba's an interesting one. Lots of people watching, make sure you smash that like button because we've had so many good calls tonight. So please support the United Stand callers who've called in and made some really good points. So please do drop the like button. Pogba, I think there's a world of difference between Pogba and Lingard. I respect your opinion, but I think Pogba was fantastic against Arsenal a few weeks ago. I think when Pogba got injured in middle of September till he came back in November, we dropped a lot of points and really missed him. Whether that is Pogba or whether that is something that I still think is an issue, and we saw it today, when Pogba goes off, the game is over because we don't have a midfielder who can come on and be offensive and do anything attacking wise. Fellaini comes on for Pogba, straight away the ability to hit a ball over the top or a 30-yard or 20-yard or 10-yard pass is gone because Fellaini can barely master a 5-yard pass. So, and Herrera is so unreliable. So I agree. I think Pogba's form has been up and down, but we've got nobody else who can touch him. And that, again, is probably a failing on Mourinho's part because if Pogba has a bad game, I think United are in trouble.
No, I mean, on that point, I wholeheartedly agree. I think there's two world-class players in the squad, De Gea and Alexis. I think Pogba could be when he feels like it. That's if and when he decides to turn it on. But, it's just kind of too hit and miss with him. And I think it's past the point where, well, is he still adjusting to, I know he played in the youth setup, but is he adjusting to the English game, or maybe he's just not suited to the English game? It's not for everybody. One size doesn't fit all. But just quickly on Lukaku, I know a lot of people want to give him, shit because he played pretty awful tonight, and he did. But 2 weeks ago it was wow. Did you see how great that hold up play was for the assist at Burnley, and how about the assist, one of them at Arsenal where he held the ball up and played Lingard in, and then his hold up play was great. Now his hold up play is terrible. I just don't know with him what you're gonna get from week to week. But there's too many supporters, quote unquote, saying that like I said 2 weeks ago, you can't judge him all on his goals all the time because he holds up the ball well and he gets involved and he works hard. Now he doesn't work hard and he doesn't hold up the ball well because we lost the game. I think the loss was good tonight. In all honesty, I think it's a slap in the mouth that we needed. For some reason, we can't go away from home or even home and beat any of these top 6 teams. That's something we need to address. But it's the top 4 is not going to be won and lost by dropping points at Spurs. It's going to be beating your Huddersfields and teams like that at home and on the road from here on out.
Thanks, Daniel. Daniel, really good call again.
Much love, Mark. Take care, bud.
Cheers, pal. Daniel's right. I mean, I've just seen. I obviously keep my eye on the live comments, and I do need to review those. But in relation to those live comments, I just want to say to all the Arsenal and Spurs fans, Arsenal, just because you've signed a player doesn't mean that you're going to do anything. We lost the game tonight and we made the best signing of January. You're not going to finish in the top 4, Arsenal. You're not even going to win the Europa League, so get used to the Europa League next year. Do you qualify for the Europa League for finishing 6th? If we could get our stat person on that, because that's where Arsenal are going to finish. As for Spurs, fully deserved the win tonight. Again, you are not going to finish in the top 4. You're going to need to win the Champions League because you are still a long way off catching the teams in the 4th, and you are playing Liverpool on Sunday where you will lose, and then you are playing Man City where you will lose, and by that time we'll have won our next 2 games, and so will Liverpool. So Spurs take the victory now, but ultimately we won't win the war. United have embarrassed themselves tonight, but Daniel's right. We will be in the top 4 because we will beat Huddersfield on Saturday, and we will pick up the points against those lesser teams. We do need to pick up more points against the top 6 teams. In general, our performances against the top 6, when you look at them this season, have been embarrassing. Chelsea away, Liverpool away, Man City at home. We did beat Spurs at home. We did beat Arsenal away, but we all know that Arsenal game was a classic, but we could have lost it. It was De Gea who kept us in the game at times. And then tonight, no arguments, no players really turned up, and Spurs, lucky with a couple of goals, but they won the game. Let me just have a quick look at some of the super chats because we've had quite a few, and I don't want to not read them out because I'm sure there will be some good ones. Thanks for everyone who's dropped a like on the video. If you like this format, we've been messing around with it on and off for sort of the last couple of months, like doing a Skype in straight after the game. If you like the format, we certainly like the format, giving you the chance to call in. Do drop a like on the video and subscribe to the channel. June Langlow says, Pogba is the beating heart of our midfield. One player cannot carry an entire team, and today United lost with a collective shit performance. I think Pogba struggled. Paul Robinson said it again. Matic was poor and Pogba had to go too deep, and Lingard didn't offer enough protection in a 3-man midfield. I think Pogba got swamped. Gregorts has made a couple of contributions. Gregorts Ratsney, thank you. Abhinav Shori says, we have all seen Pogba is best playing an attacking role. Still, Mourinho always plays him deep against the top 6. We need someone like Seri or Nainggolan who are agile and pass or move the ball forward. I agree with that. Arib Kadar says, professional centre-back using their wrong foot to clear out. Talking about that Phil Jones own goal. Spot on. Chris Wiley says, the work ethic was the major difference in the 2 teams. Maybe we came into this game too confident from our recent form. They wanted it more. Cushy says, I love Martial, but let's stop gassing him up. He was lazy. Ahmed Hamada, new member here. Love the channel. How do I call in? It's Skype Goldbridge, all one word on Skype to do that. Joshy, how can we play one centre midfielder? No support for Matic. Stephen Willocks, worst United performance in years. Disgrace to the club, and I genuinely rate Louis van Gaal football ahead of that. Cobb Ross Aikens, this one game is on Jose. It was a clear 4-3-3 game. We win the midfield. Pogba should be free to go box to box, not sit deep. Ericsson was never picked up. Third midfielder would have. Martial, most informed player, moved to right wing. Good points, mate. Good points. Alexi Nicola, agreed, Mark. Matic is not connecting our back line to our forwards. It's a problem. June Langlow, truly devastating performance all round. We're missing chemistry in the squad. We're too slow and not creative. Couldn't even get the ball out wide. We've been outclassed and schooled. Another signing won't change anything. Players need to take a long, hard look at themselves. Jose needs to change or go, says Anaruda Akula. Watching Matic tonight was difficult. Every first touch was backwards, killing counter-attacks. Every forward pass was wayward, and he was watching balls and not challenging players in the last 30 minutes, says Alexi Nicola. We lacked everything tonight. An embarrassment, says THK165. Jared Pesserman, thanks for having me on, Mark. This team needs to mesh better to play as a team and show the passion the fans expect out of them. To sub off Pogba was shocking. Lukaku needs to be benched, says Luke Johnston. Play Rashford up front, Martial left, Sanchez number 10, Lingard or Mata on the right. Change in the attack needed. Dominated in midfield and Fellaini our answer. Joke, says Nathan Brown. Loads and loads of fantastic comments tonight from everybody. A long evening for us. We've been live since 7 o'clock, nearly 4 hours, and when we started we didn't expect that this would be the finish, not by a long shout. Really disappointing performance from United. So many players not turning up. We do miss Bailey, Aaron Robertson. I do agree with that. We've got fan cams. They should be coming up in the next hour. They're going to be really interesting. What did those poor fans who had to put up with that at Wembley think? I suspect there might be a few angry ones. Let's wait and see what Flex has got for us in relation to that. But thanks everyone for watching. Drop a like on the video. Subscribe to the channel if you're new. In fact, do drop a like on the video because we're very close to 1,000 likes. This is going to be your show going forward, live straight after the game for an hour, taking your calls. So get involved with it. Subscribe to the channel, like the videos, and get involved. There's some really good calls tonight, and really appreciate it. Disappointing. Back tomorrow night at 8 o'clock with a show. God knows what we'll be talking about. Plenty to talk about. But let's let it settle. Let's see what the fan cams have got and have a look at those tomorrow or tonight if you're stopping up. Thanks everyone for watching. Speak to you all soon.